I'm half Japanese, half British. イギリスと日本のミックス。
Do you say you're 日本人 or just half?
もう宇宙人。Just 宇宙人。I started taking 日本舞踊 lessons, traditional Japanese dance. I feel so Western because I think it goes against everything my body wants it to do. My Japanese students always come to class on time, whereas the Western girls always 5 minutes late.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm half Japanese, half British, and I teach pole. 日本語で、はじめまして、リリーです。イギリスと日本のミックス、ポールダンスを教えています。
よろしくお願いします。So today we want to get into a bunch of topics here. Namely, we want to talk about your experience doing pole here in Japan. Is it okay to say pole dancing or is it more like pole?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like everyone has such different like expressions. I use pole dancing. I sometimes struggle to add to anything. Do you know what I mean?
Pole dancer.
Yeah, like when do you become a like a YouTuber?
Oh,
or like a pole, like a dancer. Like when do you know what
that's
like,
actually funny.
What is it?
What is it? I feel like it's just you need somebody else to label it for you, and then you're like, oh, I guess I am.
Okay, well, label me Max. Am I a pole dancer?
You're definitely a dancer.
Okay, there we go.
And
okay.
And then you do pole, so I would assume
you heard it here first.
You are a pole dancer.
I am a pole dancer. I'm comfortable saying I pole dance, but then like the is always like...
Yeah. That might be like a imposter syndrome. I don't know. Because you've only been doing pole for 2.5 years. Like during COVID is when you started.
Yeah, I approached 3 years over the summer. It was a COVID hobby that stuck around.
Yeah, so we're going to get into it, but we wanted to kind of dive into, because you're mixed Japanese, but you're born and raised here, right?
Pretty much born and raised here. I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth, but all of my education has been in Japan, but in English.
So, でも日本語はもうバリバリ喋れるし、で、ポールは日本語で教えたりしてるの？
日本語と英語どっちも教えてて。
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mix the two. So I'll like do, even my stretches, I'll explain it in English first and then Japanese. Or it also depends on who shows up that day. Sometimes it's just Japanese, sometimes it's just English.
You know, you're from here. So, of course, hung out mostly with Japanese. Well, let me rephrase that. Rewind. You were learning pole for a long time and then you started teaching. And we wanted to talk a little bit about the differences of what is sexy in Japan versus the West. Because Japan, I think a lot of people notice Japan is more on the cutesy side. And so what does sexy mean in Japan versus America? We do have a list, by the way.
I have a list.
Lily came prepared with a list of at least 5 things that she's noticed doing pole and teaching pole.
So I think more than the difference of the definition of sexy, I think the goal of how you want to be viewed is different. So I think in the West, there's, for example, like less of like the push-up bras, it's like smaller bottoms, and I feel like it's a little bit more of a sultry art that people are going for, whether it be like with a body wave or like hair flips or something. And in Japan, I've just felt like, I feel like the fashion is a little bit more cutesy. I mean, everyone has their own unique style and stuff, but I definitely, within the pole community, I think majority of the girls wear very, very cutesy, like lots of frills, lots of ribbons. It's just a different aesthetic that they're going for.
It's kind of like bikinis in Japan even.
Have you noticed a difference?
Yes.
In the bikinis?
Yeah.
Okay, what have you noticed, Max?
All right, we're going there. All right, I'll tell you.
Don't have to.
As a guy, I'll tell you what I've noticed, and then you can tell me what you've noticed. But I think for women bikinis, I went over this with our friend Allie. We broke it down.
Okay.
So one, yes, Japanese bikinis are a little more frilly, and the cuts are different. So the cuts in the West are like this to show. And like Japan is more like here.
Interesting.
And then the
am I making you uncomfortable? What am I doing?
Like it's like the line here for bikini is
lower.
It's more like a V shape, and Japan more is like flat across. So it's like not showing the lines of the body as much, so it looks less revealing, even though you're still showing skin. It's a weird like illusion. I feel like
another difference is like the accentuating point is different. Where I think in Japan there's so much fixation on like big boobs And
Oh,
so
yeah. Sorry.
the Nyanya smile,
no, because it's true, but I
Is
was
it
like,
not?
but no, it is, but I was just like, for a second, I was like, oh, America, big boobs. I don't know. I didn't, but you're right.
I guess
Japan is
okay,
more.
every universe likes big boobs, but in Japan, like there's just such a fixation on it that like girls will like bring all of their like skin and fat and everything to the front.
やるんだ.
Yaru yaru yaru. So like a lot of the swimsuits in Japan will have wire or like it's the same as a bra. Whereas in the West, I feel like more bikinis don't have you have bikinis with wires, obviously, but like majority of the girls are just wearing like the simple triangle that you mentioned.
So
yeah,
being mixed, have you tried both? Mixed Japanese, have you tried both of these styles across the years?
To be honest, it depends on who I'm hanging out with.
Oh.
Yeah, so like I think if I'm hanging out, and now I've like accepted that I'm physically probably more Western, so I think I go down the Western route. But growing up, I think to like fit in with my Japanese friends, I would do like the similar bikinis and stuff with like the wiring, because I felt kind of embarrassed to wear the westernized bikinis in front of them.
Were you embarrassed because
it's like different, and it's like it's like revealing. It's revealing in a different way.
And it's different. Is it more that it's different or more revealing, or is it just that it's
I think
different?
It's different.
So you just didn't want to be different.
I just don't want to be different. I think it's also sometimes it's just fun to coordinate. Like I think like whenever I go out with girlfriends, there's always a "what are you wearing?" text that like it's fun.
そっかそっか。
ちょっと楽しいのね。なんか一緒に。And we almost color coordinated today, and then you gave up on me.
We tried. She almost tried to get me to wear gray.
Two shades of gray. I said 2 shades of gray.
You said 2 shades of gray, but I was like, but visually.
You didn't want to.
I think about like color theory and like film. You got to be different to stand out.
Fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
But I think it's fun. So like I think, like if I'm gonna hang out with my Japanese friends, the hairstyles are different, the aesthetics are a bit different, and like it's fun for me. Like I like leaning into that, whereas I think with my Western friends, I like leaning into their aesthetics, and then I'm confused when I'm by myself.
Is it?
I'm like, oh.
Do you think you do it more with Japanese friends because it's more like Western is more individuality, and Japan is not, or is this just how it is with your friends?
Do you really think Westerns are individual though?
Oh, going deep. That's a good question, because we do say that, but obviously everyone still wants to be accepted by their peers.
Yeah.
So you don't want to walk alone. Some people pride themselves in being like a lone wolf, but I don't think everyone actually really wants to be alone all the time. So
yeah, and I feel like it's just different branding. Like, so for example, like I notice this a lot with my Pole students. Western social media, like my students' Western social medias versus their Japanese are so different. So like the Western, I feel there's more pressure on social branding. So everyone has either their first or last name, like very like celebrity Hollywood-esque style, first or last name, or it's like some kind of quick pun. It's very like it's their identity and their brand. Right. Whereas my Japanese students, it's gonna be like Saya with like 5 A's and then like 1993, like the year they were born. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
yes,
it's so different, but it's so like there's no right or wrong, and they're both displaying like too much information in my opinion. Like I'm like, how do you put your government name on the internet? But then also these girls, I'm like, why would you put your full birthday?
It's so funny that Instagram, even in Japan, Instagram, how people title their profile is different. Like you're saying,
めっちゃ違う。
違う. Like I know multiple Japanese people. It's so hard to find their name because I'm like, this person, I think it was like their birth year 1985, so I'm like trying to search it.
Or it's like Mayu, but then you're like, oh, you decide to use zeros instead, or like it's just like a whole other universe.
Sometimes it's like A _____ 1 ____. So I'm like, oh my God. I think is it to reduce searchability? Probably some of it is like anonymity.
I think it's that. I think it's anonymity, and I think it's also just like there's less pressure to brand yourself like create your own personal brand in Japan. So the other thing is, once you find that Instagram account, most of it's like a Starbucks cup or like just like a fourth of a flower, and I'm like,
it's so
are
aesthetic.
you Mayu from last week or 3 weeks ago? Like, I don't know. So
they're going for the aesthetic. It's almost like that on dating apps though, like Tinder. It's very similar where I've gone over this before, but it's like the back of someone's head or a cup of coffee, and you're like, I think this is a woman.
I was talking to like my Japanese guy friends about this. I was like, why does that appeal to you? And they're like, it's kind of fun to look at it and think to yourself like, okay, I wonder why she decided to put this sake brand cup in the photo. Or like, I wonder why she decided to like do this. Or like, oh, she must like, if she took a photo of like, because sometimes like just the eyes, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with that? They're like, well, it just must mean that's her charm point. And I'm like,
wow.
whoa.
It's the mystery factor that people go for.
Yeah, I guess.
It's more like Love is Blind. It's like Tinder in Japan is just Love is Blind. Bring it back to pole though. So your pole students obviously are a little more, are they more private about them doing pole?
Well, I think even in the West, I think some girls can feel a little bit nervous about posting pole because it's a relatively new sport, new art form, and so I think it can be judged or misconstrued. And so a lot of people have separate pole profiles for it. So they have like their day-to-day one, and then they have like, I don't know, Tammy pole or whatever it is. In Japan and the West, I feel like what they post is different in terms of aesthetically what they find to be the most appealing to their goal. So I feel like my Japanese students, they do more sweet, cutesy stuff. So for example, like one thing I teach very beginner heels class, where the first thing you learn is putting on the shoes, and then if the pole is here, you do just walking, circling around it, just walking. And with that, I try to get them to be like, okay, like think about what aesthetic you want to go for. If you're trying to like be sultry and like, you know, like J-Lo hustlers, and it's like, you know, like running your hands up your body, playing with your hair, and then I say, you know,
like どういう風に説明するの? Like こういうイメージでどういう風に
like my students just don't know me, but I'm like, if you want like bad B, なんかちょっとバッド B で行きたかったらこういうI don't know how
みんなバッド B 知ってんの？
まあでもなんかわかるでしょ。So I do that, or まあちょっと可愛い系で行きたかったら、この辺でちょっとキュートポーズに。みんなこっち。
みんなこっち。
日本人みんなこっち。
こっちって何？その
このなんかキュート系。
何？髪の毛をこういう風にこうパって。
パーとかちょっとなんか顔
でもやっぱでもこれやってるとめっちゃ日本人っぽいっていう風に
見える今。ちょっと見えた。
やっぱいやそうエレガントっていうかいやでも日本人なんだけどね。
ね。
日本人なんだけど、まあ that's like another thing about being bicultural. It's like you can take on a demeanor of each different, like whether you want to be Western or more Japanese looking.
But recently, I've been feeling so Western, Max, because.
Okay. Tell me why.
Tell me why じゃなくて、はい。
Tell me why you've been feeling, what?
No, okay. So I started taking 日本舞踊 lessons, traditional Japanese dance.
Okay. めっちゃお母さんがやってた。
Really?
Yeah, 日本舞踊。
My mom did it too.
Really? High five. Our moms are 日本舞踊。
日本舞踊 bees.
Yeah, 日本舞踊 babies.
Bees.
So you started doing Japanese traditional 日本舞踊.
I feel so Western, Max, because I think it goes against everything my body wants it to do.
Nihon Buyo is not like, I mean, it's どういう
It's subtle. I'm not subtle. It's subtle. So it's like, for example, when you walk, you don't want any movement. I'm like, what is that? How you walk? No movement. But you want to stay completely flat and try to walk forward like this. And so where that aesthetic comes from is like very subtle neck movements, and it's just very like small, and everything's inward. So when you turn and stuff too, you're like my teacher always says like shiboru, like imagine like twisting a towel, so everything's just twist in, going tiny and in, and like just like having your neck come out or whatever. But I grew up doing ballet, which is all about extend, and so it completely changed how I teach my pole lessons, because I think for me, having a Western background, doing things like a body wave or whatever makes sense to me, because I've grown up doing it, or I've like seen music videos where people do it, so like visually I kind of understand what the goal is. But with Nihonbuyo, I just haven't been exposed to it. So sometimes she'll explain to me all these like theories, like the towel theory, and I'm like, what does that mean? And so it's kind of changed. Like I'm trying to be better at breaking down
The
what
towel theory.
Yeah, the towel theory.
Yeah, but
Shiboru.
it's also like the neck is supposed to be very sexy in Japan. Obviously, the before, like years ago, like hundreds of years ago, right? The unaji ga ichiban like charm point dattaっていうか.
Yeah.
Like, did you have to hide it? I can't remember.
I think it was just more like, because your body is so covered with the traditional kimono, any little subtle areas where you can see skin is.
So it's just the neck.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, she got a nice neck.
She got a nice neck.
I like that you're talking about this though, because those subtle things are, I feel like, is very something about Japanese culture and society. Is like a lot of times it's the subtle things that you do that make you more, I don't want to say more Japanese, but like, you know, how careful you walk in a way that you're not in anyone's way, or you always stay on the left side because somebody else is going to be on the other side trying to walk the other way. People are very careful how quiet or loud they talk. If you're eating on the street, you have to stop and eat. You can't walk and eat, you know, like very little things where it's like, oh, that's Japanese. Oh, that guy's walking and eating at the same time. Not very Japanese.
It's very considerate, and I see that with the students as well. So good and bad aside, I feel like my Japanese students always come to class on time without fail. They listen attentively, like posture is good, they're here to learn, very, you know, majime, like just very like serious, you know. Whereas the Western girls, I love you. Always 5 minutes. Always 5 minutes late. Always a huge story as to why they're late, which is always hilarious, and I love it. But I'm also like, I'm like trying to like go through my stretch session in English and Japanese. My head's already here. I can't. Like, there's too much stuff going on. But the energy they bring is so fun, because obviously no one. That's why they're here to take a class. No one knows how to do it perfectly. So they're always having a great time. If they mess up, it's fine, it's self-deprecating, and everyone's laughing, having a good time. And that energy doesn't come to class when it's just the Japanese students, I feel. Unless they're friends and they know each other for a long time. It's just a very different... So, like, I think, yeah, the Japanese girls are definitely more considerate in terms of, like, oh, I don't want to disturb. Oh, I don't want to seem disrespectful. I want to be considerate. Like all these things they're great at. But I think the Western girls are a little bit better at being considerate of the energy of the room. So trying to get everyone in on the joke. So it's not just them laughing at them messing up. It's like they're going to make sure everyone in the room is laughing with them. And I think that's really beautiful as well. So it's really different, you know?
Yeah, but that's why I love the differences and then coming together, because they're so different. There's just way more fun.
It's such a different energy, and I think also it makes me realize though, like, I think people always assume like, oh, Japanese girls are very demure and, you know, like kind of shy. They're also really tough. So a lot of the Japanese girls that come for the first time as a trial come alone, whereas my Western girls come in packs. I'm like, I don't know where all you like met up, obviously somewhere far because you're late. But it's like they have to come together and they have to experience it together. And part of it's because like they're here to have fun, and like whether they decide to take pole dancing seriously or not, it's a fun day. But I feel like the Japanese girls that come definitely really thought about it. It was like, no, I want to try pole. And I want to challenge it. And they're completely fine with doing it on their own, which I think is really, really bold for like learning anything as an adult new is like scary.
I'm going to speak from a general sense is, for example, the gym. I feel like going to the gym is a little bit more social. Bouldering is social. Working out can be social where you invite a friend to work out together. And if at my gym, if I ever see like two people working out together or like having a good time talking, they're usually speaking in English.
Yeah.
Even if
Yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Japanese,
yeah.
they're speaking in English because, like you're saying, I feel like a lot of Japanese people, if they can be with somebody who's non-Japanese and speak English, they feel more, okay, I can actually step out and do something that may not be as normal or socially, I don't want to say acceptable, because there's no problem talking in the gym, but I don't really see it unless, of course, it's like people speaking English. So anyway, that's one thing. But even going to the gym, I feel like there's a lot of people that join it and they get really stoic about it, doing it 100% the right way, which is great. You know, this is, I feel like, a little bit the Nihonjin style of being majime or serious about it. And then Western girls maybe are just like, they will take it seriously and do it really hard,
Yeah.
but also it's meant to be fun. So very interesting.
Yeah.
It goes across the board though. I feel like it can be even in sports and stuff. Now, I have a question though. What do you think about this? What is better for becoming very good at a sport?
But what I can tell you is there's a lot of professional dancers that are Japanese. So like when you look at backup dancers for like music videos and stuff, 意外と多いの、日本人. And I'm like, why? Because culturally, we don't dance. Weddings, have you ever danced at a Japanese wedding?
No, never.
It's usually banned. It's just like not a thing.
Japanese weddings are, yeah, maybe a singer. One person will sing.
But no dancing.
No dancing, yes.
Like we just don't, like, we don't really have house parties where people dance. Like I feel like it's just not a very dancey culture. And so I'm like, why are there all these dancers that are very successful overseas? And I think it comes from just practice, like, and like just breaking down like, okay, this isn't something that maybe for them it obviously like comes naturally, or like playing sports comes naturally, but culturally it's probably not natural to like progress in that way. And so I think Japanese people are just really good at breaking things down and figuring it out.
Yeah,
じゃない？
I 多分そうだと思う。まあ、あと
But sports, I have no idea. Max.
Yeah, demo. I think.
Do I look
Yeah,
like?
I mean,
I look like I do.
You could do 15 pull-ups. You told me.
Yeah, going back to that, you've never invited me to the gym to gym with you.
Okay, I mean, we should. I didn't know you would at any time. I'm putting on blast. You know what? I did want you to do the pull-ups though. I don't know. There should be like a segment. We can like just insert the segment.
Yeah, I think I could do.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Right now?
Now?
Yeah, and we know. Okay, we need actual proof that Lily does pole, even though there's tons of proof. Real quick, since we're on this tangent, let's get on the pull-up bar. I'm gonna let's go for 10. Just
go
real
for
quick.
10. I wonder if I can do 10 now. I just did 2 hours of pole. Okay.
All right, so.
で、これすごいね.
Yeah, 落ちないで.
Are you sure this is safe?
It is safe. All right, so here's pull.
Is it safe, really?
Yep. Yeah, this is impressive.
I think it might be 5 today. 疲れた.
These are chins. Yeah, でもめっちゃ強い. Okay, you're good there. Okay. So
強くない?
強い。
すごくない?
So, okay, welcome back. We need to have you sit back down here. Have you sit back down. So
Yeah, you never invited me to the gym, Max. We live 徒歩10分.
we actually
徒歩10分すごくない?
live very close.
We live so close.
I had no idea that it's probably less than 10 minutes.
I'm like breathing really heavy.
Okay, well, it can turn into ASMR. But, ASMR is also popular in Japan. I found out. I did not know that.
Everything is popular in Japan. Like that's the beauty of Japan. You can always find whatever rabbit hole, whatever interest you have. I'm still out of breath. You can find it here.
Let's talk about that because yes, I wanted to talk about this. The rabbit holes or the niches in Japan. And pole is not like a very like super niche, but it's still a little bit more on the lesser side. But there is a big community of people that love doing that. And I know there's a lot of events, and I never really thought like, oh, Japan and pole like go together, but it does. But the whole niche thing, subcultures in Japan are very fun because people are so into certain things. It could be anything. It could be like, obviously some of the bigger ones are anime, manga, even be something as small as like, I don't know, toy cars, building models, Gundam models. And then you find a community out there who is really into it and you can just jump in.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing about Japan. And obviously if you have to speak Japanese, but I feel like the subcultures a lot of times are the most accepting, or not the most accepting, but very accepting of anyone.
As long as you like that subculture.
As long as you,
as long as you, you can't like go into the Gundam one and be like, I hate Gundam. But yeah.
Well, then you'd be like, why are you here? But Japan, I think a lot of people as a society look at it as like, oh, it's the harmony, and it's almost like I feel like living in Japan, everyone is kind of kiyotsukatteru about other people, like I don't want to bother other people, I don't know how they feel, so I want to make sure that I don't do anything like that will make people uncomfortable, like meiwaku kaketaku nai mitaina.
Because like, haven't you noticed like when you're like walking in like the streets even, sometimes you're like, is there like a secret like barrier where like everyone suddenly changes clothes? Because like everyone's dressed so similarly in different regions. And then I'm just like, I was in Shibuya, which is like adjacent to Omotesando, and like the aesthetics it's subtle but it's different.
Right.
And then like that like in between zone is like all like mujirushi or like Uniqlo or like just very like undertone colors, and all of a sudden everyone has red hair and you're like, where did
it's like an RPG. You go like just a little bit, you walk a bit, and the town and aesthetic is completely different.
It completely changes. And I think that kind of goes back to like me messaging girls, being like, hey, like, what are you wearing? Sometimes if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to Shinjuku today, oh, I can dress like a little bit more funky and fun, and like I can get away with it. Whereas like if I'm gonna go out to Omotesando, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do like a monochrome beige look, or like I don't know. I just like, I think I change depending on the little area of Japan.
I wonder if that's a subculture in itself, but
I'm sure it is.
But
because fashion also
Harajuku
a
fashion and things like that. But I think what's great, some people don't like this about Japan. What I like it is honne tatemae culture, which honne meaning like somebody's true feelings, and tatemae is like what you put out. So a lot of people sometimes think, oh, that means like people are fake. But for me, what I enjoy about honne and tatemae culture in general, people try to not, if they don't like something, or maybe they don't like maybe somebody's lifestyle, what they're doing, they don't have a strong opinion and kind of force it on somebody else. They kind of just say, oh, that's good for you. And then maybe they're judging you inside, but you will never know. But
you've been here long enough, and you know.
I'm talking for tourists.
But yeah, Japanese people, I think the impression is that they don't say how they feel. They do, just non-verbally. Or you can hear it in their intonation, no?
Yes.
目でわかるじゃん。
そうだね。
そんなことないかな。
目とか、like
相
手にしてくれないとか、まあ、they might, from a tourist perspective though, I think it's great. Like, you would never know that somebody actually hates you. But my point being is, because the culture is, in general, trying to be a little bit harmonious, no one's trying to like have loud opinions and bother people. It's like that. But when you get into a certain subculture, it's when people really just show their true self, and they can really be like this huge personality. And that's what I love about living in Japan and living in Tokyo, the name of this podcast.
It's like very like barely contained chaos. And people find where they can release their chaos with others. I love it. Where do you release your... I guess your chaos is like the creator community, right? Like I think that's also a subculture, no?
I think so. For the longest time, it was probably karate, doing karate. And I still want to jump back into that because I feel like I had a huge part of my identity doing karate. But once again, going back to differences between Japan and the West, is I did a lot of karate in the West, America specifically, United States, and it was definitely a lot more you can talk and ask questions about, like, you know, why do we do this, or like how do we do this better, and you can talk more with the sensei, like it's less hierarchy feeling. I'm just bringing it up because I started realizing that I think I'm somewhere in between, but probably more like I like a Western approach to karate a little bit, but with the Japanese mindset of doing it the right way.
Hi.
But also, anyway, this is a whole nother...
No, it's interesting. I'm learning about sports today, guys.
Yeah. But anyway, we're at 43 minutes in.
Oh, we got a lot.
Let's take a look at our notes real quick.
Would you like a marshmallow break?
Oh, you want to do a marshmallow break? We can do it.
This is my favorite thing at the konbini recently.
What is this? 15秒でマシュマロになるグミ. What? This turns into a gummy in 15 seconds?
It has multiple flavors. There's a lemon one, there's a grape one. I think this is the first one that they released. I think this is the OG classic.
Am I supposed to chew it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Why is your mind not blown?
No,
What?
It's 最初から gummy. It's like, it's already a gummy.
No, but you don't taste the marshmallowness?
Oh no, am I doing this wrong?
Where did you go just now?
No, I tasted some marshmallow, but...
So it starts as a gummy, and the longer you chew and suck on it, it becomes a marshmallow. 食感すごくない?
I'm like sucking on it now instead.
And now it's a marshmallow, no?
食感 is marshmallow. Okay.
普通に美味しくない?
No, now it's marshmallow. 美味しい美味しい.
I've been obsessed with these.
I need to get this sponsorship.
I will like literally never leave your house. It's my favorite thing. レモンも美味しいよ.
美味しい. Okay. Good break.
はい.
Okay, but since we were talking about subcultures, I wanted to ask, like, where do you find subcultures if you really wanted to get into Instagram? Or I know subculture is actually the Instagram page, you know, subculture.
That's where it comes from, right? Like that's where they got the name.
Yeah.
I think bars. Even if you don't drink, there's just so many little rabbit hole bars that sit like 6 people, and you can tell from the books that they have laid out what everyone's interest is.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
So you'll like there's like ones like nearby, even in like Sancha, where they're all like travel ones, and then like everyone there is like super into traveling, and then like the bar owner's like been to Morocco, and you're like, that's really random. It's a Japanese person.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, going to bar, you just gotta go outside.
Which is hard for some people.
It's hard for me too. I'm very introverted actually. But you just gotta do it, man. You just gotta go out.
Yeah. Do you feel like have you always enjoyed living in Japan?
I just like to enjoy myself. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much born and raised here, so I'm very comfortable. And I'm spoiled by this city.
I was just bringing it up because I didn't know, because you started pole recently. I didn't know if that made you enjoy it even more, or before you're like, like maybe I'll move to the US, or your dad is from
the UK.
The UK.
So I'm half British. I have British passport.
Right.
I could go there. I just like, it's home. As much as sometimes I hate it, it infuriates me, it makes me pull my hair out. It's home. I'm just comfortable here.
Yeah. Tokyo 生まれ育ち, right? You're
Pretty
from
much,
Tokyo, born and raised in Tokyo.
ってなるとさ、緊張しちゃうんだよね、to go overseas.
でも overseas も何回も行ったことある
Yeah,
とわ
but
かる
like
けど。
not for like long extended periods of time.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think before moving to the UK, I would move to the US because I watch too much American TV.
You're just, that's just the way it
No,
is.
so like
You do
and-
have an American accent.
very American
Yeah.
accent. I mean, America, it's so loud with everything. Like I know more about the American re-election or election. Do you call it re-election? New election?
Just
Elections this year,
Yeah.
right? So like I know more about that than I do about the Japanese government process because I just consume more Western media, and so I think, you know, if I was to if I had a ticket to both the US or the UK,
Yeah.
I would feel more accepted in the US. UK ね、ちょっと日本と似てて、
似てんの？
they don't like me. Or like they think I'm different. England. 同じ島国でさ、it has that similar like, for example, if I'm like
Outsiders,
Yeah.
insider vibe.
yeah, especially with like the city, it's like if you're like you're not from London. It's the same as the conversation earlier. It's like, when do you become a Londoner? I'm like, I'm half British, and they're like, no, you're not. I'm like, okay, okay.
Wow, that's so
Okay.
straightforward. Like, you're not. Wow.
You're just not.
Do you say like in Japan like you're Nihonjin or just hafu?
もう宇宙人。
宇宙人
I'm just 宇宙人。I'm an alien.
いや、言いやすいね。なんか宇宙人言いやすい。
言いやすい。
言いやすい。
もう宇宙人。
I'm just an alien.
Yeah. And they're like, halfですか? I'm new half.
New hafu!
Yeah.
You're a new
もうね、
hafu.
I can't,
A
like,
new
because
half.
if I like answer it seriously, I dominate the whole conversation. And I'm not dominant. Like, I don't want to dominate anything. I just want to sit in a corner and like melt.
Yeah, that's true because a lot of, not, this doesn't happen all the time, but I feel like when I was, maybe more when I was like in college, we went to Sophia. We both went to Sophia University. Yeah.実は, we're
Yes.
actually both Sophians. I feel like I do a lot of promo for Sophia. They should like hire me on board as some sort of ambassador.
Well, it's fun because sometimes when we're out, we'll like run into other Sophians and we have like mini
We're like,
reunions here and there.
Yeah, like we know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so a lot of mixed people there, and it's really fun. Shout out to anyone who's going there now if they're watching this. But talking about dominating the conversation, to explain this, in Japan, maybe more than like the United States, there was a time where if I would go out and I'm with a bunch of Japanese people and they find out I'm half Japanese, then it goes into the whole story of like, oh, how did your parents meet? Is your dad, which, you know, is he American? Is he British? And then it's like, did you speak Japanese in the household when you're growing up? Did you eat pang or gohan? Did you eat rice or bread in the house? Like all like boom, 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 like the questions just keep coming, and then everyone in the circle, it now has to like focus on this conversation about you being mixed. And you're just like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like if you're traveling and just visiting, it's like a pretty normal thing that somebody might ask you, oh, where are you coming from? But if you live here, born and raised here, you go through this conversation so many times, and it's always like dominating.
Yeah, it's not like I don't get mad when people ask because I do understand that it's interesting. Like, it's the same, like if I meet someone that comes from a country I've never been to, I'm so curious, you know, like it's normal. It's just sometimes it's tiresome to have that same conversation, and also like even if you find it interesting, I don't. So I think I just go like straight like comedy route and like just completely throw a curveball and be like choosing this, and then just like heavily lean into it. Which like I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah.
Ma.
Now it's just like you're just like whatever. But I feel like you were saying, you know, it's not super private, but you would like to get to know somebody before they just start jumping into questions about like, oh, how did your parents meet? Do they both speak English and Japanese? Like,
or like I think the big question I get asked is like, do they still live in Japan? And that exposes a lot about your family situation and stuff too, you know. Like, but I do understand that it's curious because they're like, oh, I wonder how, like, because my dad's the Western one or the European one. I do understand that they're curious whether he's still here, but then like like you like it like go like I'm like this is
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
getting
it's
like I just met you.
it's as it's as like sharp as just asking like somebody you just met. It's like, oh, are your parents divorced?
So 本当それ I'm like like I mean
so many kids probably have trauma or maybe like had to go through a lot of trouble. You know, I'm not talking about just like mixed people. Anyway, most people should think about, oh, maybe somebody could be sensitive about this.
but I feel like it also comes from like they're not exposed to it a lot, so they don't see where it's going. Whereas I know like we're going down that road right now, and I want to hop on my spaceship.
Just,
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, aliens.
Yeah, but speaking about being mixed Japanese though, I did want to touch one topic is since you went to an international school, I thought this was funny. Can you tell your story about like summer vacation and how that worked?
Oh yeah, because we were talking about how you were always surprised by things that like Japanese things that go to the West, and for me it was the opposite. So, for example, like people would one year everyone came back from summer, and they brought hacky sacks.
Hacky sacks. There was a boom, maybe in like 2004.
This like ages me, but like hacky sack was a thing, but it wasn't a thing in Japan. It was only I went to a missionary school, but it was only a thing on that campus, and I thought it was. Do you know otetama?
Otetama, 知らない.
Okay, so it's like this like Japanese toy. It's basically Japanese hacky sack, but it's not a hacky sack. They cut pieces of kimono fabric, like chirimen toka.
なるほど.
And then they sew it kind of like origami style.
Is it like this? 違う.
いや、でもね、そう、こんな感じ。いや、マジでこれ。そう。So this is a hacky sack, no? But it's not.
Not really. I mean, it's the fabric is different and everything.
But like conceptually, you think it's like the same thing, right? So then like in my head, I was thinking everyone is playing with otetama.
Oh.
But they're playing with hacky sacks.
Yeah.
And then my poor grandmother, who's like making me otetama, sees me like in the living room kicking it, and she's just like, "What is wrong with this child?" But I'm like, "No, I picked it up at school. Like I thought that's what you're supposed to do with it." I'm like, "Isn't that?"
ごめんね。で、怒ってたの?
No, my grandma's so understanding. Like she's like no, but she was always just kind of like you do you kind of thing. But like I remember, like just the cultural gaps from like it's the same thing, but then, like you said, like, it's not the same thing. Like the inside's different, so there's a different weight. You're not supposed to kick chiriman with your feet. Like it's just different, you know. Or like people would come back. Because most of them are missionaries, so they would go to their relatives over the summer. So it's just like me and my sisters and like the one or two other Japanese kids that would stay. And they'd all come back with new lingo.
Like
例えば, so I'm like talking with my girlfriends, and then someone comes over. It's like, did you know Kyle has a six-pack? And I'm like, what is a six-pack? And he's like, you don't know what a six-pack is? I'm like, of course I know what a six-pack is. And he like moves on.
Of course I know.
Of course I know. And then I'm just like racking my head all day. I'm just like, what could someone have six of? I really want. Or I only want Kyle to have it? What? And like, it's like things like this where like, and this is before like Urban Dictionaries, so I couldn't like Google what a six-pack was. And also like, I think it would have come up. Yeah. I think like cans would have come up or something. I don't know. Yeah. But it was always really interesting whenever summer rolled around, because like new lingo would come, new toys would come, new candies.
Yeah. You were on the flip side.
Yeah.
I was in the States and having my grandma ship stuff back to me, and then being like, look at this like new candy or whatever to my American friends. They're like, oh, okay, like I gotta try it, because they always, you know, Japanese snacks are like this. Very good.
Honestly, I'm like a little bit hurt that you're not as mindful. Do you not like marshmallows?
I need to think about this maybe some more. I do love marshmallows. At the first thing I tasted was like, oh, it's a gummy, which
is great. Yeah. I love gummies. And I didn't in the whole universe.
Yeah.
But add a marshmallow to it. I'm just
what
like,
am I doing? Did I do something wrong? Maybe my tongue is like off today. I have allergies.
Well, that's because I brought the normal ones so that you could have it later.
Gosh, you know what? I think we should wrap it up though. I think
Fine.
We-
You don't want to hang out with me anymore.
No, hey, we can
Okay.
hang out after this. We'll hang out after this. But
It's my grandpa's birthday.
hey,
Happy birthday party.
お誕生日おめでとう. We'll eat
Happy birthday, grandpa.
Okay, I'll eat some more marshmallows for him. だけど、if you want to follow Lily, she has an Instagram that's public, so
Yes.
you can do that or go to her pole classes. It's
Every Sunday in Shibuya.
woman and male friendly, so if-
Everyone, aliens too.
aliens as well. If you want to join, she teaches in Tokyo, so you definitely should check it out. And
Thanks, man.
yeah, thank you. ありがとう.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうございます. 来てくれて. I hope people enjoyed that, and who knows, if they did, we can have another episode with you and give some more updates.
Can we do
in
so
life of
many?
Lily.
I love. Can we do like all the episodes?
Wow.
He's sponsored by Red Bull, guys. It's my favorite beverage of all time.
This is true.
I drink like 7 a day. No, I drink like 3.
That's the key. If you want to be able to do a bunch of pull-ups and pole well, just drink a lot of Red Bull. Be a Red Bull girl.
Yes. Gives you wings. Okay, hype.
Hi.
Patch, patch.
Arigatou
Thank you.
gozaimasu. All right.
ありがとうね。
Nanka, did I forget anything? Oh, you know what? Yeah. Anime の話しようかなと思って。
いいよ、していいよ。する
Yeah.
全然見てないよ。
Yeah, 見てない。One Piece も見てない。I feel like I
あ、でも
always...
you got me on the One Piece train.
We gotta talk. I feel like this is the Live in Tokyo podcast, but I always do a One Piece plug because I'm a One Piece evangelizer.
Well, we
So-
discovered today your colors, your YouTube colors are One Piece colors.
This is also true.
Yes.
One Piece colors and Red Bull colors.
Yes. It's our loves combining.
This is it.
Max.
One Piece and Red Bull. Just all right. This.
How are the youths doing the heart? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, これ. So this is the
Yeah.
youth heart.
Yeah.
This is the Korean heart,
this is-
youth heart. This is my millennial heart.
Yeah. We're yeah, millennial. heart.
Millennial これだもんね.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, that was a long outro, but we'll take it.
Thank you.
じゃあね、ありがとうございます。